Hello, everyone. It's Sojourner Kai here, just kind of talking over some gameplay in the background. I specifically chose League of Legends for this video for a point that I'll get to in later in the video, but I just want to ask, how are y'all doing? This is kind of like the wellness check video, the video to just check in on everyone, see how we're all doing, in this uh, coronavirus and COVID and stuff. And obviously, I don't have a reply right away because this is a YouTube video, so I can't like ask this like a live stream and get replies back in chat. But I just want to say hi. See how you guys are all doing. You holding up okay? Your video games tiding you over? Or your family doing all right? I hope you are. Because I do care. And I want the best for you. I don't know you, but I really do hope that you're doing okay out there, whoever you are. For myself, I've been very busy actually. Even though like coronavirus has shut down everything and there's not very many things open or available in the way of like social things, like bars are a lot more restrictive, and gyms are like by appointment only. You can't like do walk-ins, and same with like there was actually a bouldering gym I wanted to go to right before COVID shut down. Actually, a funny story. Back in March, I threw out my back while I was lifting something incorrectly at work. It was completely my fault, but my work was willing to pay me because one, I got injured at work, and two, because the lift that I did incorrectly was because of like something that was in my way that wasn't supposed to be there to begin with. Like it's part of the protocol to like once you get those things on the floor, you move them out. Anyway, threw out my back. Ended up pulling, for technical terms, I ended up pulling a ligament like right around the T12L1, so like right in the middle of your back. A ligament on my left side I pulled. And that took me out for like 6 weeks. And the funny thing is that like this was March 6th or so that I said this. I threw out my back then and went to see a physical therapist, and they told me that stuff, and then COVID shut everything down like the week after, so I had to like do online therapy sessions and all that for that time. So that was an event for me. But anyway, it's kind of a bit of a weird tangent. I'm in school now. I'm doing school. You may see on my Twitter profile that I've very proudly displayed that I'm in school for a physical therapy degree. It's my first year. Main reason being that I just didn't know. I've been out of high school. I'll let you guys in on this. I've been out of high school for like 4 years now. It's like my fourth year being out of high school now. And I it's taken me this long to figure out what I want to do because I just really did not know what I wanted to do, and I'm okay with that. Being where I am now, I'm okay that it took with the fact that it took me 4 years to figure out that I want to go into exercise therapy as a career, because there's just something that's so fascinating to me about the human body, and knowing that there's all these machines and things and like all this different kinds of like practical physical therapy that I can apply and say like, okay, so you've pulled or torn your gastrocnemius muscle, right, which is your calf muscle, and I can then be instructed on, okay, so since you've torn this muscle, what are ways for me to help you like recuperate that and help like work around it so that there's no injury, and that sort of thing. Like learning how things work and being able to explain them to people has always been something that I've been fairly decent at, I feel like with games. That's why I'm a game explainer. I explain what games are. That's what I think my highest quality content is. And there's something that's doubly as interesting to me when it comes to human anatomy and all that. And so being able to explain human anatomy to another person and say like, this is something that can actually help you in the long run, is just something that's so fascinating to me. I guess I don't really need too much justification because everyone else has their own things that they're interested in, but I just kind of find it interesting, like what makes different people tick, like what makes them like that sort of thing. And I wanted to explain to you, why am I interested in physical therapy? It's like, I don't know, I think it's cool. Like, that's literally all it is. It's not like my parents saying like, Kai, you need to become a doctor. And I'm like, I guess physical therapy is the one that has like the least scientific names or whatever, which is an absolute lie. Holy shit, there's like so much information that goes into learning physical therapy. Like my year one anatomy class already is just absolutely bonkers. So yeah, that's that thing. But I mentioned like how I'm a game explainer. That's what I've always seen the content on this channel as, and that's what I've always wanted to do when it came to YouTube content, was make game reviews. And there's no denying that my channel has seen a massive, not massive, well, numbers wise, yeah, pretty significant, but a gradual descent, a gradual decline. And I think I've kind of like hit rock bottom at this point. I mean, I can go lower. I can definitely, this video is probably going to go lower. But I'm kind of expecting that at this point, and I just want to put my thoughts out there. It's definitely disappointing to know that the content that I've been making, for a while I was disappointed to know that the content that I was making just wasn't reaching the number of people that are subscribed to the channel. And that, I felt, was a selfish way of thinking, because nobody on YouTube owes anybody anything. Like, if someone is interested in a channel, and if someone is interested in following and subscribing to that channel, there's no obligation there. It's a direct choice to say, like, I enjoy your personality and I'm going to follow through on like following what you do. And so a subscription therefore is kind of pointless. I feel like consistent viewership is then more indicative of how good your personality is, or how good you are with keeping up with the algorithm and what your channel was recommended for in the first place. Which my channel was recommended for, being that channel that talked bad about League of Legends, which is why I chose to put League of Legends in the background of this video, because I was very wrong. I was very wrong in that video. But anyway, going forward here now, I don't really mind so much that I'm not getting views, because YouTube is not my full-time job, and me getting views is a hobby. So therefore my income is not determined by how popular what I create is, if that makes sense. So let's say that if I was a full-time YouTuber and suddenly like I saw a massive decline in my views, that would be a bigger issue than it is to me now, because having 1,000 views on my Last Jedi video versus only 50 views on my Celeste video doesn't make a lick of difference to me, because neither one of those I'm really making money off of to begin with. Like, that's not my livelihood. That is a hobby. That is something that I'm choosing to do out of my own choice. And that's fine. So with that in mind, I'm going to completely ignore the analytics and keep going with video essays for a little while. Now, what do I mean by a little while? Well, right now there are 30 videos on the channel that I consider to be reviews, or at least I set up to be reviews and are formatted like reviews, and that I've made into full-on reviews, whether that be under the Sojourner Kai name or under the Fox Ice Pancakes name. And I want to keep doing reviews until I hit 50. That is my plan. I have a list of videos that I have written up that I want to do on a variety of topics, which I'll probably swap some around when I get around to them, that will eventually add up to that 50 and then once I hit 50, if after 50 videos I see no significant change, I'm going to swap to a different kind of content. I don't know what that'll be. Maybe games with friends. Maybe I'll just retire entirely. Like, after I've done those 50 videos, I'll be like, you know what? Maybe YouTube just isn't my thing. And that is definitely a possibility. I definitely think that there's a high likelihood that YouTube has never and shouldn't be my thing. Especially if, like, I have a job as an editor now, which I'm very grateful for. and I have a job as a student. I mean, like, it is, I'm not getting paid to be a student. I have student loans that I'm gonna have to pay back eventually, and I'll be a physical therapist, most likely, to then pay those loans back. So this is my full-time job, is being a student. So if I'm putting in the effort into something that's not my full-time job, that's a hobby. And it's fine to have a hobby, but at the same time, I have to realize, like, at what point my hobby overlaps and becomes detrimental to the health of my actual career, something that's keeping me moving forward in this society. So basically, like, once we get to that point, we'll see. If I feel confident in my video essays, then I'll keep going. If I don't, then I'll have regretted nothing, because I've given it my best shot, and I'm going to move on to other forms of content from there. Now, with video essays, I'm gonna like look back at a couple of the ones that I've made, and I realized that I went into watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure wanting to hate it. Like, as much as I said at the beginning of the video, then it was like, oh, I don't want to hate this show, but anyway, here's my opinion, and it's bad, it's terrible, was very misleading of me to say, and a lot of people picked up on that. I think even though I tried to convince myself that, oh, I didn't hate JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, even though I didn't particularly like the series, I definitely didn't have any reason to be as critical as I was in that show, or in that series, because I think I still had a good time. The only problem was just how long it took me to make the video, and after a while I was just so sick of it, you know? That isn't to say that I really like anime all that much and that I'll be watching any, but I do want to at least dial back on some of the things that I said towards JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because I at the end of the day, I just realized it's like, yeah, it's dumb fun, but I think the anger in me was me trying to hype up my animations. No, it was trying to exaggerate my emotions towards the show, because when I was watching it, for the most part, I was exceedingly bored. Like, I didn't have a whole lot else to say, and so I was like, well, how do I add things in? I was like, oh, I guess I can be like really critical and nitpicky about everything, when in reality the show just bored me. I think that's what it was, and I think that's also because I like watched it all in one go to try and get a video out as quick as possible. If I watched it like on my own time, would I have enjoyed it more? I tend to doubt it. The tropes that are in anime, even though I'm playing Genshin Impact like right now, the tropes within the writing, I mash spacebar every time there's any kind of dialogue. Like, I just want to explore the world. I just want to like figure out what I can climb, what I can do, what puzzles I can solve, what quests I can find, and like characters I can, or enemies I can beat up and stuff like that. Like, I don't give a shit about the story. Like, I don't know what's even going on. I just know like there are different little quest things I can do, and it makes my brain go happy. So if anyone's like, oh, you like anime, it's like, yeah, I like the anime style. I love the anime style. I think the anime art style is great. But I just don't care about the story at all. I don't care for anime writing. I don't care for even anime voice acting all that much. And even though like the Japanese voiceovers or for Genshin Impact are better than the English ones, in my opinion, I still don't like them all that much, and I do kind of wish that they recorded more voice lines for some characters, because there's this is going to sound like a flex just by saying the character's name, but I have Venti, and every time, like, if I ever just click the sprint button because the stamina bar is like tiny and you just like dash forward quickly, he'll say, I think the English translation is, wouldn't it be faster to glide there? But man, it's the only line he has. It's literally the only line he has. And it's weird because like every other character every like side story, every like main quest, every character, like everything you come across has fully voiced lines. And that is incredible that this game is free to play and it has fully voiced lines. But then you're in open world exploration, and then suddenly it's just like, oh, let me repeat the same line that you've heard for the last few hours over and over again. How much do I enjoy Genshin Impact? I'm ranked 21 right now. I don't know what else to tell you. I've been like playing it for a week and I'm ranked 21. So to say that I don't enjoy the gameplay of it is wrong. So I just wanted to like put that out there to say that I think I was too harsh on JoJo. I was just bored of the show, and anime, I don't like a lot of the tropes in the writing and I'm not interested in it, but I don't think I deserved or I should have been as callous as I was. And speaking of being callous, let's talk League of Legends as well, man. League of Legends has had like a real interesting history with me. Now, when I recorded that video of myself back in March of 2018, so now close to 3 years ago, this is going to be like in 2.5 years, really. 2.5 years ago. I realized how much time I was spending on League of Legends and how much of my life it had completely destroyed. Like, I know it sounds hyperbolic to say it that way, but it was, I don't want to like get too much into the details because this is like kind of public knowledge by putting this out there and putting it on a public platform for everyone to see. But League of Legends at that time had completely destroyed everything. It destroyed like a lot of my relationships I had with people because I was playing it too much. It destroyed my education because I was playing it too much. And I was getting absolutely nothing out of it and just like feeling like shit at the end of the day. My fitness, which is very vital to exercise therapy, was also just completely gone out the window. Like, because I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't like, and when I was sleeping, I would sleep until like 1 or noon. I was living on campus at the time, and I would just like ignore, a lot of basic needs because I was just so addicted to playing League of Legends. And that when it came to the end of the term, I realized like, oh my goodness, League of Legends has completely destroyed my life. Here's a video that I want to make as to why I think that the game itself is not fun. So there was a disconnect there. I think it also happened to be at like a kind of convenient time when a lot of other content creators were like, I don't know, League of Legends isn't that fun, and that sort of thing. And I also had a falling out with like a Discord group that I had met like a few months prior because it's really freaking dumb, and I shouldn't have. I regret what I said. But I had a falling out with a group there, and I had like all these other things that culminated to me making this very frustrated video that was very misinformed and wrong, just flat out wrong in most instances. And I think League of Legends is an okay game now. I don't think it's great. I don't enjoy playing it nowadays either. I gathered like one game for this footage. Like, I'm not even going to try to record a better game. Like, what you have in the background for footage here is what you're going to get. I'm not going to try again for another game. So I'm just not interested in playing it anymore. But I think like League itself is a good game because it has consistent updates. It has really interesting, diverse characters. It has amazing soundtrack. And the fact that Riot can keep like the win deltas of characters within like 2 to 3% of each other, of like 50, is actually pretty significant. Like, that's pretty impressive that you can actually keep it within that close margins. Even those people might say like, oh, the balanced team doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and like all these new champions that have 200 years of game design. Like, yeah, they do. And it does kind of make it so that me playing champions that I really enjoy, which are some of the older ones because I'm nostalgic for the game, is harder to do. And with a ever increasing and ever increasingly competitive fan base, it's hard to play the game now and fully enjoy it, I feel. Some people might like it because they think that the game is fun as a competitive title. But for myself personally, that's never what League was ever fun for. League was like something that my friends and we would run down to the internet cafe, pay a fee for like 4 hours and play 4 or 5 games with each other. That was like a once a month weekend thing, and it was for fun. But now it's just like it's so elitist and weird, to the point where saying that someone is plat, is like meant to be an insult. Where I'm here like, but plat is like the top, like what, 15% of players. Imagine taking a standardized test and testing into like the 85th percentile, like the top 15% of people, and saying like, oh, you only got into the 85th percentile. It's like, what do you mean, like only the 85th percentile? That's very impressive, being able to even get to plat, maybe that's just because like I have never been to plat and I don't know what plat even looks like. And I don't even care to look to get to plat, so y'all can suck my dick on that suggestion. But I'm not going to be going into such an elitist mentality that League players have nowadays that makes it not fun for me. And again, other people might find the game fun, and I can recognize that the game is well designed. But it's just, I don't know, there's such a weird mentality around the game nowadays that it's just like, I have better thing to spend my time on. I have an amazing job. I have an amazing like school program that I'm very excited about, even though I'm struggling, not grade wise, but it's a lot. It's a lot of information. And like all these other like obligations and other games that I'm excited to play and interested in playing at the moment, that it's just like, why would I bother trying to get better at a game that's just gonna be mad at me for being good anyway? That's just how I feel, man. It's end of that segment, really. But yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to say over this commentary. I hope you guys of course, still doing well. I have a video that I want to release on the 24th with Moonwalker, but given the length of the video and considering the time of year and everything, I might not make it exactly on the 24th. It might be like a 31st kind of release, even though it's not a spooky video. It's the next video I have. It's going to be a big one. It's like 35 or so minutes in length, somewhere around there. And yeah, it's all the updates I got for you. So I have that video coming out. I have another script because I finished that script and I'm waiting on Moonwalker's lines. I'm going to be editing after I get my midterms done. And also editing for Scooch in between. So like all of this is like kind of culminating into just like a big old like content outpour in the next week or so. To the point where I'll eventually just, yeah, I'll have stuff coming out. Then I have the next review, which will be probably first 2 weeks of November. We'll see how things go. Until then, subscribe to Scooch, because I'll be releasing more content on his channel than I'll be releasing on mine. And I'll see you all later. Have a good one. And goodbye.